Right, this is the Bishop Rock order book. In the first page, it's got whenever fog has set in on, or the weather is thick from haze, snow, sleet, or misty rain, so that the respective fog marks cannot be discerned, or when at night strong rays are seen to issue from the lantern, the keeper on watch is to set the fog signal going and keep it in operation until such time as the fog or thick weather shall have entirely cleared away, and the objects referred to can again be plainly seen. Underneath it's got caution to the keepers. Should the weather clear away so that the Crebawetan rocks, Crebawetan, Crebawetan rocks, and Crim rocks become visible, but still a dense fog over the remaining portions of the islands, the fog signal is still to be kept going. And that's by order of the board. That's read in superintendent. Also in the front of the book, it's got 2 flashes every 15 seconds, an explosive fog signal, which has 1 report every 5 minutes, and the light halted 20th of June 1913, 622,000 candle power. There's an insert at the beginning, reference for the visiting committee. Towers. General state of repair inside and out, dryness and ventilation, date when last painted, state of paint. Lantern, cleanliness, ventilation, condensation, usual temperature, glazing downdraft, state of curtains. That should have been glazing, then downdraft. State of curtains, levers, cylinders, amount of ditto in store, wicks, spare panes, ditto. Lens, state of lens, burner in focus and level. See appliances for focusing. Height of flame, overflow, consumption of oil per hour, trimming gear, how often trimmed at night, air shaft or ventilation, spare burners, spare cylinders, catoptric, if reflectors are plumb, condition of burners, smoke tubes and cylinders, resolving, try the revolution for time, state of machinery, spare cord, dwellings, state of general repair and cleanliness, when last painted, ventilation, dryness, ceilings, beds, etc., kitchen ranges, offices, coal cellar, date of last supply, amount in store, annual consumption, water, well or tanks, quality, etc., when tanks were last cleaned out, filters, if in order, closets, earth or water closets, date of, drains, if in repair, pigsties, if in repair, boundary walls in repair, when last whitewashed and by whom, gates, etc. Fog signal, nature of, state of efficiency, signal flags or geometrical, state of repair. Oil cellar, number of cisterns in store, do they hold the annual allowance, number of gallons, tin or iron, oil remaining, drums, any oil drums or tins at the station? If so, why are they there? Paint. What paint or white lead is in store? School. What are opportunities for schooling their children? How many attend school? Church. Where keepers and families go to church and what accommodation they have. Medical officer. How far from the nearest resident medical officer? Medicine chest, state of. Health. General health of keepers and families. Rock lighthouses in addition to shore lighthouses, amount of preserved provisions in store, date of release, date of water supply, filter, coals, box of books, boats, mooring and buoy, and meteorological instruments, state of repair, spyglass, ditto, then fog gun stations, gun, etc., state of sponges, etc., cartridges, amount in store, see return of firing, gunner's house, state of. That's it, no date on that. An entry here that says 0 is Round Island Lighthouse, bearing 036.5 degrees T, and lantern plates are true. First entry in the book is 1858, September the 13th. This tower was visited this day by Captain Redman. 15th of July, 1859. This establishment was visited by Captain Close, Ware and Arrow. Found all in good order. The ironwork of the lantern externally to be painted, and the glazing leaky in places. Also on the subject of the wicks for the lamp, which are too small, they are obliged to be stretched to get them on. The next bit is some of the writing I can't read, so I just read bits. It's 1864, it looks like, July the 26th. Visited, found the lamp not in the centre of the lens, sanded it, and the keeper's got to do it weekly. A new lamp required here, the lens requires adjusting. Burners to be increased to 4 times the consumption. 1866, July the 24th, visited by Captains Owen Webb, accompanied by Mr. I.A. Douglas, found establishment in good order. Directed the gallery to, together with the rails, to have a clean coat or 2 of white lead, as also the lantern sashes. Also, a new chain for the bell, hammer to be repaired. 1870, 29th of July, visited by Captains Nisbet and Atkins in the Argus, found all in good order. The keepers here have received strict orders not to trim the lamp during the night unless actually necessary. Nevertheless, the very best flame must be kept up. This one's 1882, April the 27th. Not very good writing, so I'll struggle on with it. Visited after inspecting at St. Agnes with the alert since the 19th last. Carefully inspected new tower, together with the illuminatory and fog signal apparatus. Found all the apparatus in good, efficient shape. Found a piece broken off, new top edge of new 11th course, it looks like, of masonry, about 2 foot long, and prisms broken off, end of numbers 3, 4, and 5 of the lower prisms, also some of the cement broken, and lenses and lower prisms in second pieces. This was all something or other caused by the storm on the 20th of November last. Found the house in good order throughout, signed by Douglas. Drawn about the top and the lower lens there. 1883, April the 11th. This looks like visited with Mr. W.I. Douglas in MV Hercules. Workmen worked in preparing the rock for new foundation course of the something or other masonry. Inspected the illuminating and fog signal apparatus and tower. Generally found all in good and efficient shape. 1883, May the 2nd, visited this lighthouse from the alert, found everything in good order throughout, workmen at work at the light. The signal DNS is there anything to prevent landing, shall in future be understood to mean is it safe to land, to be answered by the affirmative or negative pennant. That's that Tregathern superintendent. June the 18th, 1883, visited with Mr. Douglas in the alert. Sea not smooth enough for working on the rock. Found good progress made with the new foundations of the new masonry. 11 stones set in foundation courses. Inspected the illuminating fog signal apparatus. Found all good and efficient shape. Douglas. October the 29th, 1882, it looks like. So that makes that 1883 before, must be 1882. It's a squiggle on it. Because the last entry was 1882, May the 2nd. And then June the 18th, 1882. This one is October the 29th, 1882. Landed with Douglas by something or other from Lantern Gallery. Weather north-west with the big swell by the look of it. Could not berth the Hercules for landing stone. Good progress made. 24 stones now set in the 20.5 course by the look of it. I think that's 20th course. TH looks a bit like a half. August the 14th, 1885. Visited and inspected works, landing and setting 44th courses of new masonry inspected. August the 28th, workmen cutting the 47th course. October the 19th, 1885, they landed then, and it's the 57th course. 1886, May the 20th, Visited and inspected new works. 62nd course of new masonry completed. The central setting crane landed and placed in the service room. The lantern floor removed, and the upper and lower prisms removed from new illuminating apparatus for servicing the temporary light in the lantern. Immediately, lantern is fixed. The lantern present illuminating apparatus and masonry of the service room will be taken down for proceeding with the upper portion of the new masonry. Douglas. Does that make sense? This looks like June the 28th, 30th of July, 2nd and 3rd. It's also got here underneath. 1886. Visited and inspected works in progress. Since visit on the 20th of May, the lantern, illuminating apparatus, setting crane, and upper portion of the old tower have been removed. The new central setting crane with temporary lantern and illuminating apparatus have been erected, and the new double flashing light has been regularly exhibited from it since the 25th of May. The 69th course of masonry completed this day. Douglas. 1886, looks like November the 26th. Visited and inspected the works in progress, landed from Hercules, the plate glass for the new lower half of lantern, and some other materials for the works. The upper half of the lantern glazed, and the general finishing of the tower progressing well. Found new temporary catoptric light apparatus in a good efficient state. Douglas. In 1887, May 23rd, visited with Douglas in Hercules. Internal work of tower and fittings progressing, compressed air cylinders and iron partitions in position. Found the temporary catoptric light apparatus in excellent order. Douglas. June the 14th, visited from the alert, found the temporary light apparatus in very good order, working well and keeping good time, bell sounding well. Establishment throughout in good order considering the number of workmen in the house. Astro Gaffin, Superintendent. 1887, 12th of December, tested 6-wick burner and fog signal apparatus, all now in good working order. It's Douglas. Little bit 1888, December the 14th. The work on correcting the caloric engines still in progress. Mr. Douglas in charge of the work, and it's got PK, it looks like IJ or IA, Saunders, SAUND, it could be EER or EES in charge, signed by Redding. 1889, March the 14th, visited and inspected from the ready, landed 10 casks of oil, light apparatus in fair condition. A very bad lookout is being kept at the lighthouse. Vessel fast to the buoy before being observed. George looks like Dunsford, or AK on watch. Signed by Redding. Still 1889, November the 12th. Visited from the alert, found the light apparatus fairly clean. Paintwork inside the lantern is not at all satisfactory, requires to be thoroughly cleaned. Too much oil has been used about the iron grating. Davy, it looks like motor engines working fairly well. One of the 2 batteries will not fire the detonators. It will be taken on shore. Brought off a super, AK to do duty during the winter months. Also landed oil and water. That's from Reading. 18th of November, 1889. Visited again in alert with something of a Reading. The weather being very favourable. Further inspected and tested machinery and apparatus. Day being fairly clean with a fair something or other. The position of the adjusting strings of the bottom and upper lower tiers of lenses. Examine the keepers in the management of the Davy motors. Found they all required further instruction from the Blackwall mechanic. Signed by Douglas. This is March the 18th, 1890. and visited from the alert, found all very good order and clean, tested both lamps, found them in centre. Brett, the mechanic at the lighthouse, during the principal keeper's time on shore, instructed the assistant keepers. Landed a supply of coke, also a new telescope, and tested same by signalling in St Agnes Lighthouse, which can be read distinctly. A.K. Dunsford again in charge, Reading. June the 17th, same year, a little bit there, but landed a supply of coke and firewood. October the 20th, same year, which is 1890, visited with Mr. Reading an alert, inspected and tested light and fog signal apparatus, found all in a good and efficient shape. Tested a new fog signal with both lamps burning at full intensity. Found the three inner flames of the upper burner considerably disturbed and occasionally extinguished by the explosions, but with the three outer flames only burning, no extinction or of either flame occurred. A mechanic from Blackwall with me, who was instructed to make a complete overhaul of the engines and boilers, and will be sent off tomorrow, weather permitting, after something or other at Round Island. Douglas. 1891, September the 24th. Visited by steam launch, it looks like, and boat from St Mary's. Inspected and tested light and fog signal apparatus. Found all in good and efficient shape, with exception of a leak in portion of central tube of starboard boiler. Two mechanics are here who have been effecting overhaul of engines and boilers, but will have to reburn and something or other at the patch, which is too small. The fog signal with fog going during my stay in the tower, and with both lamps burning at full power, neither of the lights were extinguished. The principal keeper stated that only occasionally was the upper light extinguished, and that this never occurred with the lower light. Douglas. 1891, December the 22nd. A little bit there, but Engineer Inspector Davy Motors, landed oil and coke. The new gear which has been fitted to the firing apparatus prevent keepers from firing a charge when the jib is down is not at all satisfactory. In fact, it has only been partly done. Principal keeper in charge, signed by Reading. 1892, April 5th. I found the new telescope lately supplied to this station has been badly used. Instructed the keepers to take more care of it in future. Landed a new boiler, oil and water. Assistant Keeper Smith in charge. Destroyed the old rockets. Reading. January the 12th, 1893. Tested adjustment of burners. Found the lower one level but slightly out of character, is that? Upper one correct. Engineer Inspector Davy Motors. Landed a supply of oil and firewood. Reading. 1893, April the 14th. Visited and inspected from alert to investigate the cause of the lower burner catching fire on the night of the 2nd last, during assistant keeper something or other's watch. Could be a JEUNS or even FEUNS, funny name. Found the station in fair order. Principal keeper WKKAYE in charge. Signed by Reading. July the 18th, 1893. Visited and inspected from alert. Found the station generally clean and in order. Conveyed to assistant keeper Fawn, I think it is again, the board's reprimand for neglect of duty in leaving the light unattended on the 2nd of April, whereby the lamp caught fire. Engineer Inspector Davy Motors, Reading. 1893, September the 22nd. Blackwall Mechanics erected a new boiler, flue, something of a Davy Motors, Reading. 1894, February the 2nd. No, it could be the 21st. Mechanic arrived by relief boat to fit steps to the centre of lenses. Reading. May the 2nd, 1894. Found the tower inside generally clean and in fair order. The lantern outside, which has been recently painted, has been done in a very careless manner. The glazing is covered with paint, spots which are to be removed. Landed oil and coke. June the 7th, 1894. The keeper in charge reports that the engines take more than double the normal period to pump up night supply of air. The mechanic has left the work only a few days since. June 16th, the tower generally clean and in order, landed 5 tons of coke. Engineering inspected Davy Motors, Reading. 1894, September the 17th, somewhere who is in charge reports that the Davy Motors are working satisfactorily, but that it takes 1 hour and 40 minutes to pump up the night supply. 1895, March the 19th, inspected the cause of the accident on the 18th last, when 6 diamond and 2 half-diamond panes of glass in lantern were broken. It was caused by the keeper, Bolton, placing a battery on top of the one in lantern which had given out. Instead of removing it, the safety gear thus became useless. Then he reads the letter, the broad letter. It's a bucket of water and flannels to be kept in the lantern. Reading, that was. April the 17th, 1895, landed a supply of explosives. May the 3rd, landed a supply of glazing for the lantern. October the 11th, 1895, inspected from the alert, found the station clean and in good order, cautioned the principal keeper to pay strict attention to the timing of the revolving apparatus at night, the light having been reported by 2 masters of vessels as not keeping correct time on July the 7th and September the 21st. Another spurious bit here. 1896, January the 7th. Upon inquiry, I find that the order to change the burners at midnight have not been carried out this winter. Instruct the keeper in charge to have this done in future. Reading, Superintendent. June the 10th, 1896. Establishment and lighting apparatus are all clean and in good order generally, but the burners are out of adjustment as reported by committee in June 1893. R. Wilson, it looks like, first assistant in charge. January the 24th, 1898. The burners have been badly trimmed, more care to be taken in future. Blackwall mechanic, overhaul in Davy Motors, Reading, Superintendent. May the 17th, 1898. The PK reports that the lens has been given a considerable amount of trouble. June the 15th, 1898. The lens is revolving too fast. Engineer at work. Some of the rollers not working satisfactory through imperfect contacts. One I missed going back a bit. 1897, May the 19th. Inspected from alert in response to signals. AK horn report starboard boiler leaking. Port boiler being also away under repair. Lens is being turned by hand. Found station generally clean and in order. Reading. December the 21st, 1898. Visited this station to make inquiries with respect to the loss of the principal keeper, J. Ball, who was missed in the afternoon of December the 19th. That's Reading. February the 3rd, 1899. Inspected with Mr. J. Williams from Blackwall, who surveyed the Davy motor boilers. Reading. 1899, September the 12th. A little bit here. Landed Oil, Coke, and other stores. PKE Gould in charge. Signed by Reading. Gould is Gould. List here of the painting work to be done. Painting, it's got lantern externally, fixings and circular something or other water tanks. Lantern internally, pedestal of lens, service room, side of gratings. There's a bit there I can't read. Pressure lamps, cupboard and tool chest. Engine room is coke bunkers, heavy water engines and boilers. Bedrooms is iron panels and air receivers. Sounds good for a bedroom. Kitchen iron panels and receivers. Upper oil room, oil tanks, air receivers and doors. Lower oil room, oil tanks, iron panels, coke bunkers, air receivers and doors. Storeroom is magazine outside, coal bunkers, round lockers and air receivers. Entrance room, air receivers, WC, top of water tanks. The backs and sides of stairs, cases, bunker sides of stairs or ladder sides of stairs, tops of steps, black varnished. Varnishing as required, pedestal of lens, flag box, service room door, Davy engines, bunks, cupboards, rear locker, kitchen door, and lockers in storeroom. Davy engines have to be varnished, or what that meant. Dwellings on shore, painting flagstaff and gates and all the side doors. Head in here, I can't understand what it says, but it says back guards and WCs inside of store at the Quay, by the look of it. Reading. 1901, January the 4th. Something over the jack roll on the approach of bad weather is to be taken up into the tower, as formerly it has been damaged during the recent heavy gales. When the Mermaid is seen in the roads overnight, sufficient air is to be pumped up and the engines got ready by sunrise. PK is in charge. Reading. 1901, February the 16th. Inspected from the Mermaid, found the station clean and in good order. The keepers are instructed not to throw ashes out of the service room window. They are to be taken down onto the set-off in buckets and thrown into the sea. AKKAYE in charge. Signed by Reading. 1901, May the 3rd. The watches at this station are to be kept as follows. 3 keepers attend to the light and fog signal. Each keeper takes a 4-hour watch in the lantern, followed by a 4-hour watch work in the fog signal. During the day time, the keeper on watch to work the fog signal. The 4th keeper to attend solely to the Davy motors. This to be arranged by each keeper individually. The principal taking and this to be arranged, it looks like, by each keeper, including the principal. It was by order of the board. Reading. June the 26th, 1901, visited and made inquiries respecting the loss of the 4-masted ship Falkland of Liverpool, which struck the west side of this rock at 7:20 p.m., it looks like, on the 22nd, and sounded. Reading. 1902, October the 27th. Horrible writing. This is a little ditto. The attention of the keepers is called to the state of the telescope. This has had very rough usage. It's Reading again. December the 22nd, same year. Visitors from Mermaid found the light apparatus clean and in efficient state. Tested new clock. Found it working well. Lens keeping correct time. Reading. 1903. Looks like May the 18th. This is horrible writing, even worse than the doctor's. But what I can see, it says, looks like a mechanic from Blackwall Work Station finishing alteration from Davy Motors. Clockwork found all in good order. So those Davy motors that needed varnishing it were obviously turning the lens around. 1903, August the 13th. Visited at 7 p.m. and made inquiry into the circumstances which led to the accidental drowning of S.R. Hicks, Hicks, AK, this morning. Signed by Reading. 1904, August the 24th. Inspected from Mermaid. Something station clean and in order. New incandescent burner exhibited for the first time on the 23rd last. AKC4GT Thompson. Reports everything works satisfactorily. Signed by Reading. February the 13th, 1905. The light at this station is always to be burnt at full power in biform under all conditions of weather. That's the board letter, 2nd of something, November 1904. Reading. Then 1905, May the 9th. Inspected from Mermaid. The station is not in good order, it having the appearance of heavy neglect since the principal keeper has been ashore sick. Rule 16 para B is to be strictly adhered to. AKJ Hicks or I Hicks. First night could even be Hills, HILLS, in charge. Reading. Naughty. 1906, March the 4th. They found the station in good order. Then they put the keepers when on shore and on duty are always to appear in uniform. Reading. 1907, February the 25th. They've got a PK Parsons in charge. 1908, February the 11th. Inspected from the Mermaid, found station generally clean and in good order. The kitchen flues are to be swept on the 1st and the 15th day of each month. The same to be duly recorded in the Weather Report Journal. Recircular Letter Book, page 76, Reading. July 17th, 1912. visited by Captain Marshall on annual inspection and found efficient. Apparatus revolving too slowly, and keepers are cautioned to keep a careful check on this. Outside window shutters are to be cleaned off and painted. Signed, Marshall. 1915, can't read. That could be May 20th. Visited from Siren, found all clean and in good order. The keepers, when on shore, who reside in the town, are to assist with any painting that may be required at the cottages. Williams, Superintendent. So that means on your time off you have to paint for Trin as well. 1916, March the 5th. It's hard to read what that thing is. It says, with reference to the principal keeper, name undecipherable, report that her tower had been struck by lightning on the 28th Feb, so it could be March, that thing, March the 5th up there. Trinity House tested the conductor from land and the base and found all to be in good order. And close examination of the interior of tower, lighting apparatus, fog signal, gearbound, all machinery was made and no damage could be found. R. Williams, Superintendent. The spurious one for 1917, November the 22nd. The Simpson biform lens IOB has been discontinued temporary, and the biform upper pane reduced by black curtains being placed around the outside of lens. Williams. October the 26th, 1921, principal keeper instructed to tender some sort of a fog signal report, fog signal gantry and IOB pump. Landed oil, water, coal, and 2,000 explosive charges, and library box. Opened 1 2-pound tins of meat. Very doubtful for food. Reynolds. 1924, November 19th. The hoisting up winch should be oiled and worked at least once a week, and the fact entered in the journal. The hand winch is not to be allowed to remain on the set-off overnight. Reynolds. 1926, April the 25th. Light keeping correct time. Oil tanks cleaned out. On the 19th was numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. On the 16th was numbers 6, 12, and 13. On the 23rd was 8 and 11. Signed, Reynolds. 1935, a rigger from Blackpool will arrive on the May relief to assist the keepers in sealing and painting the gallery water tanks. 1945, 29th of June. Visited by from Warden, station very clean and efficient, lens timing correct, new electric light in lantern, radio, telephone and battery charging equipment in good order and clean. McCarthy, Superintendent. 5th of July 1943, inspected from Warden, station in clean and efficient order, all wartime instructions being properly carried out. Mechanic overhaul in Stuart Turner engines, RT listening reduced from continuous to first 10 minutes of every even hour and until the charging plant is in order again. McCarthy. May the 29th, 1950. Sample of reserve provisions, potatoes and milk to be sent ashore for testing. Surplus reserve provisions and paint, etc. to be sent ashore. Keepers to wear life belts when working on set-off and to have them on in boat. Shimuli pistol rocket gear to be on set-off when working. Goodman, Superintendent. Another little bit here, April the 28th, 1952. Examined fire damage, door of kitchen. Requires to be scraped clean and revarnished. New something of a glass skylight fitted and blistered paintwork made good. Keepers warned of the danger of placing articles of clothing in close proximity of the stove. 1953, March the 11th, inspected from satellite, made investigations into the stoppage of the fog signal on February the 20th. The outside of the lantern glazing was not very clean and instructed PK that it must be kept cleaner. Oil is still leaking from the new tray under the Stuart Turner engines and seeping through onto the sitting room ceiling. We report to Workshop Superintendent. Goodman. 30th of August, 1955, station under charge of temporary PK, looks like Duplain, Duplain. November the 23rd, 1958, inspected station on relief, found all in clean and efficient order. Station has now been provided with televisions. The 2 commemorate panels in sitting rooms have been very nicely redecorated by Assistant Keeper R. Stone. The walls and ceiling of sitting room can be painted early next year. Station very well maintained. Goodman, Superintendent. June the 21st, 1959. Interior of tower can now be painted out cream and white. Paint to be supplied. Goodman. 11/8/65. New position for bunk ladder to be effected with new bracket. Harris Superintendent. 9/3/66. Fitting of new sink unit and repairs to plumbing yet to be done. Position for new gallery escape rope decided. 28/7/66. Plumbing work has been completed. New RT generator also installed. Morley tiles being fitted by masons. Internal painting by keepers is proceeding. 10th of December 69. Light efficient, but approximately 3 to 4 seconds slow on the full revolution. Station appears to be happier with complete change of senior personnel. Or is it junior personnel? 18th of March 75. Keepers living in trying conditions in between two stages of modernization. Station, however, is being efficiently maintained. 76. 12th of June. Construction of heli platform progressing satisfactorily. Checked light and temporary electric fog signal both correct. Catesby. 6th of May 86. Mr. Dobbin PK proceeded on leave and Mr. Shipley newly arrived today as keeper in charge. Catesby. 14th of June 88. It looks like Mr. Patterson PK maintaining an efficient standard. 14th of June 89. PK Cronin on duty. 15th of May 1990. Mr. Arnold PK appointed in November. 4th of June 91. Work is due to start automating the station on the 25th of June, with one keeper remaining on duty throughout. 3rd of June 1992. Start Mr. Arnold PK. Mrs. Keeper's now working 2 weeks on and 4 weeks ashore until operations complete. That's the automation. A little bit here says December 92. Last keeper left station. Doesn't say who. A little ditto about Robson. Just the last bit. It's a poem that was left in the book called Requiem for a Prince. It's as follows. This granite phallic symbol, erect in a swirl of foam, shines out across the ocean, guides the mariner safely home. Built 140 years ago, many keepers have come and gone. Automated, now we leave you, alone to soldier on. Sadness now in parting, though some towers have been epoxed. You were the last and best, the Prince of the Western Rocks. Signed by Barnacle Bill, 1992, last Principal Keeper, Bishop Rock.